Hello everyone, Darcinova here. How are you guys doing today? This episode, I'm going to review the second half of the Shadow Academy story arc in the Young Jedi Knight series. Last time we left off, Zack willingly left with the Shadow Academy, and the next three books deal with the students of Luke Skywalker to prepare against the threat of the Shadow Academy. Now, the following books are in here. I think each one of them deal with certain conflicts of characters: lightsabers, Darkest Night, and Jedi Under Siege. Each one of them dealt with a certain issue. I think one of them that stands out the most for me would be lightsabers, which in this book causes one of the characters to become disabled. One of them loses an arm. And if you're familiar, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right, Tanel Kajul, I think that's how I'm pronouncing her name. I'm just going to call it Tanel. These are her first name. And this was written well because, it isn't often that we deal with disabled characters in Star Wars. And the way they handle it was really good. This is how diversity should be done. It's not, you shouldn't force it, and it didn't here. And even though she lost her arm, Tanel still, is still able to fight. She's still able to do a bunch of cool things, and she's still able to help her friends. She just may need a little bit of help. The other book that follows it, The Darkest Night, deals with Louis, or Lubaka, Chewbacca's nephew, going back to Kashyyyk to help, his sister. It's with some Wookiee ritual. I believe it's a passage to adulthood. I don't remember. I may know something about the EU, but there's so much I can't remember every single detail. Anyway, Zack, this was his first mission as leader of the Dark, Jedi Knights, to go to Kashyyyk and steal everything that they need for their assault on Luke's Jedi Academy in the last book of the story arc, Jedi Under Siege. I may end up giving a few things away. I'll try not to. But I feel like these books, does do a good job of, giving you a diverse cast of characters, which is something I should have talked about in the first one. I mean, all these characters are likable. I mean, Jason and Jaina, along with Tanel, Louis, they all have something, I think people, at a young age can relate to. Even as an adult, I still think they're worth reading because I still think these are good stories, actually. And Luke Skywalker is utilized well in here. And in my opinion, I'd say these books are better than majority of the novels that were coming out at the time. It's hard to find, but it's definitely worth your time. The Young Jedi Knight books. I like to talk them more in detail, but I'll probably do that when I give my final thoughts. I felt the way, the second Imperium, I believe that's what they're called. Some people may think it's a contradiction because there's remnants of the Empire that exist in here, but it could be explained. They're just rogue factions of the Imperial remnant. I mean, these books take place, after, Vision of the Future, and no, some of the contradictions that some people may think are contradictions are not. Even if they are, it isn't that big of a deal. These are really good stories regardless, and I'm looking forward to reading more about these characters in their years before the new Jedi Order series. Are these worth your time, even if you've read everything in the timeline? Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, New Jedi Order. I think they still are because you get to see these characters, when they're at the very beginning, and it actually, if you have yet to read these, it may actually make the later books more tragic for the reader. You may have more investment because you already are invested in these characters. So Young Jedi Knights, which this omnibus is called Jedi Sunrise, I give this a classic rating. I think it's really good. Definitely worth your time. These aren't that hard to find for the first 6 books, luckily. You can get both of these collections are cheap. Unfortunately, the next 8 books are not as easy to find as these ones are. So, good luck with that. This is Darcenovia, over and out. May the Force be with you, and see you guys next time.